All right, guys, we're back. Video number 2 in this 3-part mini-series about what it takes to buy a house. In this video, we're gonna talk about credit. Now, credit is, for some people, the easiest part about qualifying for a home. For other people, it's the hardest part. So credit, really not to be overcomplicated. Depending on your loan program, you need to have a minimum 580 credit score. Depending on another program, whether it be FHA versus conventional is really what I'm talking about, you need to have a minimum of 620 credit score to qualify. If you have below that threshold, it's almost an instant rejection. So focus on getting your credit score up first. Now, on the topic of getting your credit score up or keeping it up, my thing is do not overcomplicate credit. Creditors look at 2 main factors that make up 65% of the contributions to your credit score, and that's payment history and amount owed. So credit history makes up 35% of your credit score. It's really simple, just pay your bills on time. That's literally it. Now, the other big portion of what makes up your credit score, which makes up 30% of your credit score, is amount owed. So if you have a $10,000 credit card with a limit of that $10,000, don't run it up to $10,000. Don't run it up to $5,000. On a monthly basis, you should really only be using maybe 20% of it and being sure to pay it off at the end of each month so you don't pay interest on it. Now, the creditors want to see utilization. They want to see that you use the credit card, but they never want to see that you keep a balance, and they really don't want to see that you keep a high balance. Now, one more thing to talk about with credit, there's a point of diminishing returns to where you don't really need to obsess about your credit score anymore. Depending on the lender, depending on the loan program, once you get above a 740 credit score, it doesn't matter if you have an 850 or a 741 credit score. For the most part, you're gonna get the same pricing for your interest rate because you're in that A+ tier of credit score. So there comes a point where just live your life and don't be a freak about your credit score. Now, between 700 and maybe 720 or up to 740, there's another tier where you're gonna get slightly higher interest rate because you're not an A+, but you're still gonna get an amazing interest rate, especially in times like these. If you're in the low 600s, there's typically a lot you can do in a short period of time to get your credit score up significantly. You're gonna wanna talk to a lender about what that is. Oftentimes, it's just paying off a few credit cards that might even have balances in the hundreds of dollars. So you pay those off, and all of a sudden your credit score might jump dozens of points. So talk to a lender about that. With that being said, credit, depending on who you are, it's the easiest or the hardest part about qualifying for a home, but it should always be easy with a few simple practices that we've talked about. So call me if you have questions. Otherwise, stay tuned for video number 3, which is income.